Welcome back to No Man's Sky, everyone. Jason here, and this is going to be our Relic Expedition Replay walkthrough. The really long name, but basically, the expedition replays are happening, and the one for this week is called Relics. So this is one that happened earlier in 2025, and it's all about the revamp for fossils, for bones. It used to be you would just go find a skull, and that was it. Then they've revamped it, so now there are fossil beds, and you will find a skull and a spine and a tail and legs, and you have to make a skeleton versus just selling just one little piece. So we're redoing that. You have a week to do it. We're going to walk through it. That way, if you're having any problems with it, absolutely pay attention to this this guide. This is not going to be a speed run. I know some people love the speed runs, but this is going to be more of a detailed walkthrough. So for a new player, someone who missed it or is just jumping into No Man's Sky, it should be able to be like followed by them because they don't know what's going on. They don't know what the heck is happening. And if you're a brand new player, I highly suggest doing the expedition replays simply because they give you rewards you cannot earn in the game any other way. There are special things you get, and it kind of shows you certain features of the game that might be overlooked. A lot of people don't even care about fossils. Like, you could play the entire game from start to finish, quote unquote finish, and you can never interact with a fossil at all if you don't want to. There's a lot of features in No Man's Sky that are optional, like food, cooking, all this kind of stuff, fishing, tons of stuff in there that you could just totally ignore and never ever touch. However, some of that stuff in there people don't know about, but it's really, really fun. And I think that the expeditions are a good way of showing you some of these cool things that you might not find otherwise. So at the beginning of the expeditions, every expedition, they start you off on the community planet. Everyone is here. Everyone starts here. And don't worry about your character or any of your stuff. This is all cosmetic. So your character is going to look different than mine. You'll have a different ship. It'll look different than mine. Your weapon will look different than mine. But we all have the same upgrades. We'll all have the same, basically the technologies and upgrades. It just looks a little different. It's cosmetically different. So the first thing I would recommend before you do anything else, if you're not playing in multiplayer, like if you're not playing with a friend or a group of friends, go to your options, go to your network, not that one, network, and you can disable multiplayer and disable joining your group. That way no one can join you, because multiplayer in No Man's Sky is very finicky. So sometimes it works great and you don't notice anything, but the second you have issues, turn off multiplayer, because this is a main contributor to the issues. And while you're here, any new save you make will have PvP turned on. I don't know why they still do that. Hopefully one day they will switch this to default being turned off, but it is on by default, which means anybody can join your game and shoot you and kill you. So turn that off. Come into your menus, turn that off. All right, all of that being done, first thing you want to do is go to your ship. And if you've never played an expedition before, if you press your pause menu again, you'll notice right here, expedition, we have an expedition tab now. And these are the missions that they want you to go do. These are like basically the quests they want you to do. Milestones is what they call them. So you have different phases. Phase 1 is the easiest one. This is the beginning, and it gets progressively more difficult as you go along. You know, phase 2 is a little bit more hard. Phase 3 is more difficult than that. And phase 4, all the way up to phase 5, this is the really difficult stuff. Now, keep in mind, if you're a veteran player and you've played the game, you played the game for hundreds of hours, you can still do all of this stuff out of order. So if I wanted to, I can go search a dung sample right now. You don't have to do them in order. There's no requirement for that. They just they put them in order because they want you to go from the easiest to the most difficult. So that is something to keep in mind. They're trying to give you the warm-up, basically, to get you used to the game and playing it if you're a brand new player. But I will say from the get-go, start scanning everything, because there is a mission to scan all kinds of different rocks, different plants, different animals. So just start scanning a whole bunch of stuff right when you start up. So scan all the stuff. Scan your animals, too. Look at that. Boom. You can scan these guys right here. Scan those animals. Get all the stuff done, because generally the milestones want you to scan more animals than are on a single planet, generally. And so you're going to need to go to multiple planets anyway to get all of them. So you might as well start doing it now, because we're going to be going to multiple planets anyway. Let's get all these guys here. And there is, right off the bat, I have a whole bunch of animals around me. If you're lucky like me, go into your photo mode, press down on your D-pad, go over to the photo, the picture, the camera icon, and then you just need to take a picture of 3 animals in one photo. So, and pay attention to this. If you're playing on PlayStation or Xbox, you're going to have a like a screenshot button on your controller. Don't use that because the game doesn't know if you're taking a screenshot. Use the in-game button. So you see on the screen, it says take a screenshot by pressing A. If you're on PlayStation, that'll say X. Use that button first, just to make sure you're taking a photo with the in-game photo mode, because then the game knows, oh, you did take a photo. There you go. If you're still having trouble, use your, like if you're on Xbox, sometimes you can pull up the guide and do that. Whatever instructions are on that menu, use the game instructions. Don't just, take a photo with your screenshot button. It's not going to work out well. So a lot of people have problems with the screenshot milestones in this game. That's generally what happens, is you're trying to use a different button. They don't know. The game's not going to know if you take a photo with your screenshot button on your controller. You need to be very explicit and let them know. Whatever directions they tell you, use those. I'm scanning all these rocks and stuff like that. Again, scan everything as much as you possibly can, because we're going to need this. Now, the other thing you want to do is you want to collect a whole bunch of carbon, because we need to feed some animals. We're going to try to jump ahead a little bit. Since we have a whole bunch of animals around me, you want to take advantage of whatever opportunity is presented to you. So once we have 70 carbon, we're going to make creature pellets. If you pull up your visor again, you can see all those little paw icons are creatures around me. So if I throw out a pellet right here, press down on your D-pad, go to creatures, and you can throw out a pellet. If you throw a pellet out like this, they will all smell it and they will all eat it. That's what you want to do. It's more efficient. If you want to, you can just run up to a singular animal and offer them food, but you're only feeding that one animal. So one pellet can feed multiple animals like that. Look at that. Boom. They're all grouped up trying to get it. So let's throw out another one. Just make sure everyone's fed. Everyone's good and happy, because when you feed creatures in No Man's Sky, they will poop. And that is one of our milestones at the end. Down here in Phase 5, we have search dung samples. We need to search 10 poop piles. So feed them, and then don't do anything aggressive. Don't pull out your gun. Don't start mining, because you'll scare the animals and then they'll run away. Just kind of sit here for a minute and let them walk around. Like you can walk around a little bit. Get them moving. That way they poop a little bit. So, and because there's a ton of animals right here, that's a lot of poop going to happen. All right, there we go. Boom. We already have poop happening here. So let's search these dung piles really quickly. Boom. That's 1, 2. And sometimes you need to walk around, because they will stand next to you because they want more food, right? So you want to move around. That way they move away from their poop piles so you can actually search it. Oh my God, look at all the poop piles. 3, 4, 5. That's a big one. Oh my God. Ugh. I don't think I have enough room for all that poop. All right. And we'll search more. I think we're almost close here, right? There it is. Boom. We did 10 piles, so we're good. We're done. We're done with all of that. The other thing you have to do is, after you feed an animal, you can turn it into a pet by interacting with it. So now that you fed it, it's like it loves you because you gave it good food. So adopt it as a companion. And now we've created a pet, which is a milestone for us. So now, if you go to your expedition tag here, your menu, we searched 10 piles of poop in Phase 5. In Phase 3, we took a screenshot of 3 animals. So we took a photo of 3 animals in the same photo. And then Phase 2, we adopted an animal. That's all you have to do. It's so easy and so quick. You get that knocked out right in the beginning. Another thing you have to do is go after these explosive plants or these hazardous flora. So any plant that will attack you like this, you have to destroy those. So pull out your laser. Now all the animals are going to run away because they know I'm attacking stuff, so they'll run away. But we have to destroy these plants. Specifically, I think that's in Phase 2. Yeah, eliminate hazardous flora, so hazardous plants. We need to kill 6 of them. We already did 2. So that's really awesome. I'm going to also grab some materials out of here. You know, anything you want to grab, that way you don't have to buy it later on. So, you know, sodium is very good to have. You know, carbon, ferrite dust, all that stuff is all really, really good to have. So on this first planet, you can knock out a ton of milestones before you even leave. Before you do anything, you can knock them all. You can knock them all out. So, oh my God, look at all the sodium I have. Good Lord. All right. So another thing to grab is, oh yeah, our animal guy is going around. So if you want to get rid of him, you want to, you know, not have him running around you, go to your paw icon, the creatures. Instead of going left, go right, and it says dismiss Swanee. So there we go. Bye-bye. And he just goes away. Basically puts him back in my my pocket like a Pokemon. Don't say that too loud, though. Nintendo will get you. All right. I've scanned all this stuff. Oh, look at that, dude. There's my milestone. I scanned 6 minerals, so 6 rocks. You have to do 6 different rocks, and I did that. Easy enough, right? We scanned some plants. We're going to need to get some more, though, so don't you worry about that. There's going to be a ton of stuff we have to grab. But let's grab all the materials here. Boom, boom, boom. Here we are. Oh, we got chromatic metal. I'll take that. Grab that, grab that. Oh, yeah. Whole bunch of stuff here. So anything that has a question mark on it or an unidentified object, you want to scan that. At least until you get your milestone. Like, I don't have to scan any more rocks now because I've already scanned them all. I have my milestone. I could keep doing it if I want to because you still get a little bit of cash for that, but you don't need to for your milestone. Your mission is done. Where's my ship? I got twisted around here. My ship is... Where is it? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I'm going this way. So let's go. Let's go along over there. Grab some more carbon while we're here. So I'm just trying to pick up the basic building blocks for a lot of different stuff. You're going to need carbon. You're going to need oxygen. You're going to need, you know, a whole bunch of ferrite dust, the minerals, basically. So just grab all that, as much as you can out of that. Ooh, condensed carbon. I'll take that. Secondary. Done, done, done. Let's keep going. Sodium and ferrite dust. Again, we're going to need a lot of ferrite dust. Got that. Got that. Alrighty. So let's look at my inventory. I got a whole bunch of stuff here. Got a whole bunch of poop. Ooh. Gross. I got pure ferrite. Beautiful. We don't need to have that over there. Carbon. I like to organize my stuff. I know I'm a weirdo. I have to organize everything. That way I know where everything is, so I can just look at my inventory and just be good with it. So another thing to keep in mind is you can move your technology around, and it's to your benefit. So this little spot right here is a supercharge slot, meaning anything you put in there, any technology you put in there will be increased. So just by taking this one, you see jetpack tanks 25%, sprint 10, recharge 11, sprint recovery time. So those are the stats on my upgrade. But if I put it down here, now 31%, 12. So it's even better than it was originally. So you want to use these supercharged slots to your advantage. Whatever you want to improve, like I love my jetpack, I will put my jetpack upgrades in there. The other thing to keep in mind is they give you translators by default. You do not need these for your missions. So if you don't want it, you don't care about it, you can destroy it. And there is an advantage to it. So if I destroy this, I will get 1 wiring loom. You see at the bottom of that box? So I will get items back for destroying it. So I got a wiring loom. For this one, I'm going to get a quantum computer and 25 chromatic metal. Chromatic metal is very hard to come by, so I love that. Let's get some platinum, some convergence cube, and wiring loom again. So I got all this cool stuff just from destroying those, and I don't need them. I'm going to put my shield in that supercharged slot because I'm going to need that later on. So just keep that in mind. You can move some upgrades around to your advantage and get that stuff done. Grab that, grab that. Get some carbon going on in here. We need to get some more of our hazardous flora. So any plant that tries to attack you is considered hazardous. And if you really want to double check that, all you have to do is pull up your visor and look for a red exclamation point. That's a hazardous flora. Any plant that is marked with that means it's going to attack you. So use that to your advantage. Run over here and say, nope, I'm going to grab that. This little snapping Venus flytrap looking one. You're done. So this will put us at 4. We need 2 more. And we will be done with our milestone. So we are knocking out a ton, and it's all kind of randomized. So we're just going all over the place, getting a whole bunch of them. There's another animal there. So yeah, our ship is over there. Did I scan those? I did. Let's go. I'm trying to get back to my ship. Oh my god, it's way far out here. All right, that's fine. Oh, there's another hazardous flora right there. You see it? It just popped in right there. Gimme all that oxygen. Need all that oxygen. Get some ferrite dust right here. Chromatic metal as well. That's good. So the thing to keep in mind is the secondary object. And when I mean secondary, you see how it says dubatite? And then the first one is ferrite dust. So that's the main material you're going to get. You're going to get a whole bunch of ferrite dust. The secondary is you're going to get very little. So we're talking like 1 or 2 chromatic metal, and we're talking maybe 10 or 20 ferrite dust. That's what I mean by that. So you're not going to get very much, but it adds up. It adds up. So you definitely want to do that if you're needing something like, you know, chromatic metal is a really rare object to get as a secondary. So definitely grab that whenever you possibly can. Oh god, get out of here. Keep going. There's my my ship over there. Oh, we need some condensed carbon. So let's grab these red crystals here. I can't get to the big one. So you can get the small crystals. I can't get the big one because I needed an advanced mining laser. That's an upgrade for your laser. So that's why I'm not going after the big crystals. I'm only going after the little ones. Like here, boom. You can get the little ones, not the big ones. This is looking pretty good. We got a building over here that looks like a transmission tower, and we'll also have a shelter over here. Always check these damaged machineries because they can give you upgrades or items. Most of the time they'll give you nanites, which is good. It's a currency you can use to buy upgrades. But sometimes they give you just straight upgrade by itself. I got a nanite out of there. Dang it. The other thing to keep your eye out for is these buried technology modules. You can grab these and sell them for money. They're used for base building, but we don't have to build a base in this expedition, so don't worry about that. Mostly you want to pick those up because you can sell them for a good amount of money. So there's my ship right here. Let's get in my ship and see what's going on here. The ship communicator registers an incoming message. The frequency is unusual. Broadcast on an oh my god. Broadcast on an antiquated. I can't read. All right. Broadcast on an antiquated bandwidth. I don't know why I want to call it antiquated bandwidth, but the signature is identifiable. The Galactic Paleology Society. I got that one right, at least, I hope. Maybe. I can't understand them at all. I don't speak your language. The alien babbles enthusiastically, not seeming to mind whether the specifics of their words are understood. Dust floats from their hands as they gesticulate. Attached to the transmission are details of an excavation schedule plotting out a series of dig sites spread across multiple worlds. A collection of valuable relics are listed, offered as reward for participating explorers. Well, let's do this. We need to participate and go dig up some bones. The Galactic Paleology Society representative appears delighted. The first directive on the schedule is not a request for fossils, as I expected, but a request for artifacts. Perhaps this first phase is a test, a measure of my excavatory skills. All right, so now they're directing me to a specific location. But that's your first milestone. Officially, this is the first one you could do in phase 1. So while we're here, let's go through and start accepting our rewards, because another big part of the expedition is when you complete a milestone, they give you a reward, And most of the time, these rewards will help you on your mission to go do other of the milestones. So for this one, we got to our ship. We're going to get a prepackaged personal refiner unit, which is a personal refiner in your backpack. Starship launch fuel for our ships. That way we can actually launch. A signal booster and surge battery plans. And we're going to learn 12 Gek words. So we got all that stuff, which is awesome. We got a signal booster. We need all that. So look at that. We also got a personal refiner. We're going to put that in our backpack. So now we have a refiner in here that we can use to refine anything we want. So the first thing I would recommend is take some carbon and refine that into condensed carbon. This is going to be beneficial later on. Don't you worry about that. The other thing we can do is we can move these items that we don't need in our inventory into our ship. So like our wiring loom, we don't need it on us. Let's move it to our ship. So I'm doing that by pressing Y if you're on Xbox, triangle if you're on PlayStation, and it will put you right in your ship. Boom. Boom. Like that. Boom. There you go. Put that in my ship right there. You don't need the feces, the poop. We'll put that in the ship. And look at all that condensed carbon. Beautiful. All right. And now let's go grab the other things we got as well. So remember, we've been doing all these kind of different milestones. So we scanned 6 rocks. So we're going to get a prepackaged advanced mining laser. Awesome. A supreme defensive upgrade, a supreme shield, and inventory slots. 5 of them. So we're going to upgrade our inventory. There we are. We can also grab our shield right here, pop it in our inventory. That way we have better shields for our suit. And an advanced mining laser. Oh, man, look at all this stuff in here. Let's move all these weapons over here. Put the laser next to the other laser. The other thing to keep in mind is, you see how there's no green box around it? If you put similar upgrades together, they will give each other a boost. Now it has a green box. That's an indicator that you're good. That means you get a little bit of a boost in productivity for whatever object that is. So now my mining beam will work a little bit better. It's not like a double or triple. It's more like, hey, it's 10% better or 5% better. So that's all you want. But hey, after a while, you get so many upgrades, it will slowly, like, this one's 5%, this one's 5%. It'll slowly really make a difference. The more upgrades you have, the better it will do. So just keep that in mind. The other thing we got is, oh yeah, we domesticated an animal. We made a pet. We're going to get a supreme life support upgrade and life support gel. I will definitely take that. So let's put our life support upgrade next to our life support. Let's also grab on phase 3. We took a picture of 3 different animals at the same time, or 3 animals in the same photo. We're going to get a fishing rig plan so we can make a fishing pole, exoskiff, which is basically a boat, and a bionic lure. So there we go. So now we can make a fishing pole, but we're not going to worry about that yet. And then finally on phase 5, we went through 10 piles of poop. We searched dung samples. We're going to get hexite for that. So now we're good. We got all of our rewards. But before we take off, don't you take off yet, because we need to search. Our next milestone in phase 1 is we need to collect an ancient artifact. So we need to search for an ancient burial ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out the signal booster. They just gave us one for that mission. Put that one down and double make sure you have that mission highlighted. If you don't have that mission highlighted, it will not search for a burial ground. And then activate the signal booster and scan for a ruin. Again, remember, if you don't have that mission highlighted, it will not try to search for one because it doesn't know that's what you want. You need to let the game know, hey, this is what I'm looking for. That way it says, oh, we'll search for ruins. There you go. Ancient ruin site detected, so now we know where one is. And it marks it for us. It's right over there. So now let's pick that up. And let's get in our ship and go. So it is still marked over there, and it is 1 hour away. So if you want to fly, it'll take you about an hour to get there. Or if you go out of the atmosphere, let's exit the atmosphere. It'll tell us which system we're in. Thank you. And then let's go over here to the ancient ruin. We'll pulse drive. We'll use our pulse engine to zip around the atmosphere. You have to be right outside of it. You don't have to be out in space or whatever, but you have to be outside the atmosphere. So you're right on the edge. And so now, instead of an hour, it's going to take us 18 seconds. So it cuts down the time a lot. And it used to be you would be able to figure out if you're outside the atmosphere because the game would it would have to load space. And so it would hitch for a second. It would basically freeze for a half a second to load in space. They've optimized the game, so now it's harder to find out. So just go out to where you can kind of see the stars. Like right now, I can't see the stars. Go out into where it kind of gets dark and you can see the stars. That's how you know you're out in space. Or outside of the atmosphere, anyway. All right. Well, here is our ruined site. We're going to need to dig up an ancient artifact. But before we do that, we're going to actually need to look around for keys. So we need the artifact fragments. We need 3 of these. Keep that in mind. We need 3 of them. So if you pull out your visor, you can see it. Or if you've played this game for as long as I have, you know. There's always one inside this building right here, and there's always one right outside the building. But if you're a brand new player, you're not going to know that. Let's pull out our terrain manipulator. There it is. We need to dig up this little crate and take our fragment out of there. And then again, use your visor and you can see it. And if you want to, you can mark it as well. That way you know it's there even when you don't have your visor up. There we go. So again, if you want to mark something, you'll highlight it on your visor and then press X, or if you're on Xbox, or square if you're on PlayStation, and it'll lock it in. That way you can see it no matter what. And so we know now that's where the other artifact fragment is. And we need 3 of these. Remember, you need 3 of the fragments. So let's crack that one open. Now we have all 3, so now there should be a large crate that we can unlock. Right over there, it'll mark it for you. So it's in the same spot. There we go. We need to insert all of our fragments. So 1, 2, 3. And it opens up the chest, and we got a rare item, an unusual arthropod DNA, or arthropod DNA. So we got that one done. And while you're here, I would highly recommend doing a more advanced milestone. Where is it at? Is it number 4? It is number 4. So in phase 4, there is one called Deeper Underground, and that is to excavate terrain. And notice how it says 2,600 units to the third, meaning cubic, meaning it's actually volume. It's not just a straight line. So you can go in a straight line, but it's going to take you forever. Like if you want to do this, I'm excavating, right? But if you want to do it quickly, what I would recommend is go underground with your terrain manipulator, right? Dig a hole like down here. So we're pretty deep, right? Now switch your mode. You can switch your manipulator mode from right now it's just mines. I'm just doing a tube. But if I switch it by pressing B or O if you're on PlayStation, I can go to create. So there's different modes on this tool. I press it again, it'll be flatten. And this is the one you want to use because if you flatten, it'll try to flatten the terrain and it'll remove everything in a cubic area. And so that will help you get this done so much faster because look at this. I'm excavating a gigantic area all at the same time. So use your flatten mode and we'll just breeze right through that 2,600 units. And remember, that's a big thing to keep in mind. It's cubic, meaning it's volume. It's not just, hey, go 2,600 feet in a straight line. No, don't do that. Boom. Knocked it out. Easy, right? Easy peasy. Got it done easy. And then switch it back to mining. Oh, we're out of ammo, so let's do that. And now we're done. We got that one done, so let's accept that reward. We got this one done. We're going to get salvage data. So there you are. Salvage data done and done. So we got a ton of money there. And then we also, remember, we got our excavate a new thing here, a bone. So we're going to get base computer plans, a prepackaged scatter blaster, which is a good weapon, banned hazard protection, and powerful frost protection. So you definitely want all of that stuff. So So we have our scatter blaster. This is a better weapon. So right now, when you first start out, they give you a bolt caster and they give you a couple upgrades, which is fine. That's totally cool. But I would highly recommend switching over to the scatter blaster. So once we have the scatter blaster installed, we can delete our bolt caster. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. And get rid of that one. So now we have a shotgun. So a shotgun is going to be way more beneficial to you in the expedition, I think. If you like the bolt caster, keep it. You don't need to use a scatter blaster. I recommend that scatter blaster because it does a lot of damage up front. And then we have our 2 hazard protection. We have a frost protection. We're going to need that one later on. So we're doing good here. We have a lot of stuff going on. So now, the other thing I would highly recommend is if you see any copper around, like we have a copper deposit right over here, let's go get some copper because we're going to need it for our next milestone, which is to leave the system. Is that in the water? Oh, it's in the water. Okay, well, let's go down into the water. Oh, yeah, let's get our hazardous flora. Let's knock these guys out. I think we're done, right? Did we get them all? Oh, no, we didn't. Okay, there you go. Boom. I destroyed 6 hazardous flora. Well, man, we're knocking them out like crazy. So, yeah. And, I mean, remember also, you need a lot of oxygen. So, killing these hazardous flora is going to help you a ton. So get that oxygen going. And, you know, carbon, of course. Always take more carbon. It's always going to be useful for you. All right. There's another hazardous flora right there. So we have some copper down in the water. There might be some animals and there might be some plants underwater I can scan. So let's do that real fast. Oh, yeah, look at that. Boom. Plant right there. So let me scan that. There's a fish underwater I can scan. Remember, we have to scan animals, plants, and rocks. Nothing there. Let me scan that plant right there. Oh, there's fish over there. I mean, kind of a fish, I guess. There's our plants. I think we got all the plants and animals there. Look at that. We discovered 6 new animals. That was our milestone. We got that one knocked out as well. Do we have that plant? Oh, we do not. So let's scan that one. Get that animal. And then we got our 10 plants. So we got all of our items scanned on the first planet. Again, you can knock out a ton on this first planet. Where did my mineral go? Where did my thing go? There it is. There's our copper. We're going to use our terrain manipulator. We want to get some copper because we can refine copper into chromatic metal. That's what you want to do. So let's grab all of this. Whatever we can anyway. Let's do that. Boom, boom, boom. And there we go. We got some good copper here. Done, done, done. All right, let's go back to our ship. Now that we've knocked out like almost all of our scans, we've knocked out like a ton of milestones. And we haven't even left the first planet yet. We haven't even done anything else. We've just been here kind of doing our thing. Let's get some more carbon. And, oh, pure ferrite. I'll take pure ferrite as well. We're going to need pure ferrite later on, so keep that in mind. We're going to go to the space station. We'll be able to buy it there, but if you can, get it on the planet as well. All right. Man, we're rocking and rolling. We're getting almost all this done already. Oh, there's oxygen right here. Beautiful. We need oxygen. I'll take all of that. Oh, my God. Look at all the oxygen here. It used to be a long time ago you could scan the oxygen and sodium plants. You can't do that anymore. They kind of caught on to us. We would do that every time. It was a really easy way to get your plant and, you know, mineral scans and all that kind of stuff, but not anymore. All right, we got a lot of oxygen. We're good. 600 out of there? Beautiful. All right, let's get back into our ship over here. So you'll notice I'm collecting a ton of materials. That way, I'm good to go for the rest of the expedition. I don't need to worry about, stopping and grabbing this or that. I'm trying to stock up as much as I possibly can here. That way I don't have to stop anymore. I can just go from place to place and do my thing. Where'd my ship go? Over there. So let's head over to our ship. And before we leave, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the space station because there's going to be some good stuff there we can buy. So let's go to the space station. We're going to fly up in the atmosphere, and then we're going to get the heck over to the space station. So once we leave the atmosphere, it should mark the space station for us with that yellow hexagon. There it is. So let's go to it. And while we're heading that direction, let's press pause and collect some of our rewards. Again, we're kind of scattershot getting everything. So on phase 2, we got our animal scans. We scanned 6 different animals. We're going to get a radiation protection upgrade and creature pellets. I'll take all of that. So let's install that radiation protection in our suit. We're going to need that later on. The other thing we did was we scanned hazardous flora. We killed the 6 hazardous plants. We're going to get a delicate flora, a supreme toxic protection upgrade. So let's do that as well. Let's install that one. There we are. What do we need to make here? Oh, it needs to make war cell. That's fine. So we did all that, and then we also scanned 10 plants. We're going to get more delicate flora. Those are items that we can sell. And we got a toxic protection. So let's install the toxic protect. Where did that go? Oh, I guess not. What do we get? Oh, no, we just got 2 delicate flora. All right, so those are items we can sell for money. That's why we were trying to pick up all that stuff. So we got $1 million here, $1 million there. We're going to be making tons of money here. We're going to have tons and tons of money to sell, or items to sell for money. So that's why you kind of wanted to do all of those milestones to get the items so we can make some money early on. So we're going to go to the trade terminal. We're going to go to sell. And anything you don't need. So we don't need the signal booster anymore, just to make room in my inventory. We do not need Atlantidium. We can get rid of that. We do not need glass. We do not need the unusual arthropod DNA. So that's the treasure we dug up. We do not need salvage data. This is the stuff we're rewarded with. And then we go to our suit or our ship. So we go over here to switch. We do not need the dormant paint shade bulb. Any of these rewards, that are plants like these, we don't need. We can sell that. We don't need a convergence cube. We do need the bionic lure, so we need to make our what's it called? Our fishing pole. So let's do that now before I forget. So if we want to make a fishing pole, let's do that. Fishing rig. We're going to need dihydrogen jelly, chromatic metal, and nanotubes. So let's install that. Install that. We need one more nanotube. So let's install that one. So let's make our fishing pole here. Done. So fishing pole is complete. Now, if we click on it, we can put the bait on it, which is the bionic lure. Let's put the bionic lure in there. That way we have that bait going. Let's talk to this guy over here. Let's see what he has for sale, because he might have chromatic metal. What do you got? Offer to trade. He has ferrite dust. We'll take all of that. We'll take all the cobalt as well. We need, I don't think we need metal plating. We don't need chlorine. We do need tritium. That's going to be fuel for our ship. And that's about it. We don't need anything else. So thank you, buddy. Let's go back to the actual trading, the station trading terminal. We'll buy all the ferrite dust. We'll buy all the cobalt. I don't think we need a hermetic seal. We're good on that. We will need magnetized ferrite. Let's buy that, because if you put magnetized ferrite in your refiner, it will turn into pure ferrite. That's what we need for later on. So I'm going to refine that right now. Let's get some of that pure ferrite. We have another ship that landed up here. So the big thing we're looking for right now is chromatic metal. Chromatic metal is going to be a big deal. So let's grab some chromatic metal, hopefully from this one right here. Enforcer. You're going to have chromatic metal, right? Nothing here. Yep, look at that. Boom. 428 chromatic metal. So there you go. We're good on that. So now we are set. We have a little bit of copper. We can put that in our refiner to get chromatic metal as well. So the reason why we got a whole bunch of cobalt is because we need to make batteries. So ion batteries take 5 ferrite dust, but 10 cobalt. So that's why you want to do that. And we're just going to make a whole bunch. Just to get that cobalt out of my inventory. Boom. And then we can get rid of that one. Let's get our pure ferrite out of there. So, and this tritium can go in our ship because that's going to be our fuel. We can get rid of all that. And it has a box that's telling you, hey, look, you need to make a warp cell. But we're going to need to make this item first. So, what I just did there was, if you pull up your crafting menu, if you press X if you're on Xbox, square if you're on PlayStation, it'll give you the tree, the crafting steps. That way, it'll tell you, hey, this is all the stuff you need to make warp cell. That's the final product. We need to make an antimatter housing and an antimatter. Make one of those, one of those. And there you go. But you don't need to worry about making just one. You can say, hey, look, let's make 5. 5. So now I can make 5 warp cells. So boom. 5. We're done. Oh no! See, I'm used to playing on permadeath. You need 5 in permadeath. In normal mode, you only need 4. I don't know. I'm PTSD here. Let's move some stuff around here. There we go. We're good, and we're set. There we go. We have our fuel here. We have our metals down here. Repair, just in case we need that one later on. Let's refine that into some chromatic metal. We do not need that. We do not need that. So yeah, we are set. We're ready to go. Do we have any rewards we need to collect? No, we don't. So our next mission is to report to the GPS field office, which is in a different system. We're going to need to make that warp cell to use it in our warp drive. We need to make fuel for that. So we are set up. We're ready to go. We're set up for success. So hopefully you guys like this episode. This is like getting a whole bunch of stuff done, a whole bunch of prep work done. So now we are set. We're ready to go. And we're going to be launching in the next episode. We're going to be doing a lot of searching for fossils and getting all that stuff done. So hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, hit that like button. And I will see you guys next time.